Hey everybody, coming up on Sports Central, we have some celebrities in the house. Zach Burek from the Tigers, Becky Afonso from Bike, Florida, and we also have Mr. Brian Burns from the Ledger. Stick around everybody for this edition of Sports Central. Hey everybody, and welcome to Sports Central. I'm Mark Jackson. To my right, to your left, if you're looking at it correctly, is Mr. Neal Duncan. Neal is, it's great to see you in the house today. You know, we've got some special people here. We had to bring in a special guy to help, manage that whole process.
Well,
it's great to see you.
I don't know when that special guy gets here.
I'll let you know. Hey, what a great show we have lined up, and things are just rocking here in Polk County right now. It's like passing myself in the hallway and other places because you're just so doggone busy. But we got to count our blessings, certainly because, all this tourism, all the sports activities that are going on, hey, it's one of the reasons we do not pay personal income tax here in the state of Florida. It's one of the reasons we live here, and particularly here in Polk County. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. Well, we've got a season that's wrapping up that we really hate to see. We love to see them come, but we hate to see them go. And of course, that is the Detroit Tigers. And with us today, we have Mr. Zach Burek. And Zach, you've been around for a long time. You've seen an awful lot of baseball. I just can't say enough about the job you guys have done with that new refurbished stadium. I mean, it is phenomenal, and it's remarkable when I listen to the fans, when I hear people talk, even the players, talking to the players. This is great. This is the best facility in all of, spring training baseball.
Absolutely, Mark, and thanks for having me on. And that's a testament to our community here with celebrating 82 years here in Lakeland, the longest relationship between a major league club and a spring training site. And certainly the renovation project wouldn't have been possible without the support of Polk County Tourism and Sports Marketing, the City of Lakeland, the state of Florida, public supermarkets stepping up as the naming rights sponsor. But you're right, the great part about spring training is the fan experience, the closeness with the players, the weather, the sunshine, beautiful Central Florida. And so having them down here and sharing in that, and as you mentioned, it's hard to believe we're down to the last 3 games of spring training, and then we are 14 days and 6 hours and 30 minutes away from starting the Flying Tigers season. So that's the exciting part is, as you mentioned, we hate to see the Major League Club leave, but then we got a minor league baseball team right in our backyard that's getting ready to gear up.
We talk about partnerships, and we of course want to thank Visit Florida, the partner presenting this segment, and the Son of Fun Fly-In this year. Once again coming in, so we want to say thank you to them. But you talked about the state of Florida, you talked about the county and the city, and I think what's missed is the Tigers themselves, the commitment to stay in the community, and it's not just a 6-week period. It is year-round operation, and the economic impact doesn't go north when the Tigers leave.
Absolutely. I mean, we have full-time front office people in Lakeland that would normally be in Detroit with other organizations, and because of the facilities that we have here now and the rehab amenities now, the weight room, now we have, I believe, almost every one of our trainers and strength and conditioning coaches for the Detroit Tigers lives in Lakeland year-round now. So what that means is when the baseball season's over, these guys are here on the complex. Players can come in, work out on their own time, utilize the facility, and get into baseball shape and stay in the baseball shape. But you're right. I mean, now we have our June draft. Our headquarters is in Lakeland, Florida. So everyone from organization in the baseball operations department comes down. We have a war room that's set up. So they're down here for 10 days during June. We have our organizational end of season meetings in Lakeland after the season down here. So all of our scouts from all around the country, our front office personnel are all coming to Lakeland, Florida, and that's throughout the year. As soon as spring training ends, we got the Flying Tigers season. We have 2 rookie teams that are playing on the backfields back there. We have a mini camp. We have an extended spring training program. We have a Florida Instructional League. So baseball is on our complex, organized team activities 9 months out of the year, and then you take the other 3 months that guys are just coming in on their own and working out and getting ready for the season.
Wow. That's really impressive. But, so much about baseball, and the games are fantastic. Really good weather this year. Hopefully that'll, will have boosted some of the attendance and so on. But there's so much to do and see beyond just what's going on out on the field. The Major League Scramble for example. I mean, what a great event that was this year, and people get to play with their, favorite stars, coaches, front office people. That was great. The Tigers barbecue. There's so much other things that are going on, Zach, that it's just like, geez, when am I going to come down, and what time is the best time? So.
Absolutely, and to see the people that come down for workouts, when people hear, oh, pitchers and catchers are here, but you go out there and you watch those workouts, there's tons of people just around there watching these guys work out and getting ready for the start of the season. So you're right, Mark. So people are coming in. We have people that'll come in even before the workouts just to come inside the stadium and see the green grass. Just be a part of it. When does merchandise go on sale? So when do spring training tickets go on sale? And viewing for us, the new hospitality areas, being the 360 design of being able to walk all the way around the ballpark, the destinations we've created inside the ballpark. So you're right, it's much more, and we say that with the Flying Tigers, the game is only part of what we do here. And sometimes between the lines, it gets in the way of some of the fun stuff we want to have between innings with the Flying Tigers. I know that I've got 1 minute and 45 seconds to get on the field and get off the field if we're doing some kind of fun promotion between innings. And so for us, the planning that goes on, what we're doing before the game, during the game, and after the game, again, the game is secondary in some ways, because for us, it's about that experience. When we talk all the time as a staff, we don't really, from a Flying Tigers perspective, sell tickets. We sell experiences, and the ball players are part of that. The game is part of that, but not the only part of it.
Let's talk about as we go into the second full season of the Flying Tigers being in the renovated Publix Field at Joker Marchant Stadium. The opportunities, I think maybe it was a learning curve for the fans as well as the organization of all the new areas, and we're talking the middle of summer. So the covered areas, and maybe even if there is some weather delays, now there's places that people can go where they're covered, and it's not as big of an issue. Talk about some of those things and what the fan experience is like now.
Absolutely, and that was one of the major aspects of the renovation project was, how do we make the facility relevant year-round, especially as we get into the Flying Tigers in July and August when we know it's going to rain every day in the afternoon, or it's going to be hot, or both. And so for us, it was those covered areas, the shaded areas, the picnic areas, the club areas, the air-conditioned space. And so, and not only for groups and for sponsors to be able to entertain in, but for the average fan. And I think that's what we saw last year during the Flying Tiger season. And so as more and more people were coming into the ballpark, they were seeing that, covered seats all the way down the line now, comfortable seats. For us, that bleacher section during the minor league season was obsolete. A concrete structure with metal benches. So now we replaced that with, seats that had seat backs and armrests and cup holders, underneath the covering, close to an elevator, close to concession stands now. And so all of those amenities, an air-conditioned team store that's open year-round. So for us, it's not only the groups that are coming out there and being able to utilize those spaces, but our fans are able to do that too. Be able to come in and utilize, the team store and air conditioning. We have fans that'll come in and do a little window shopping to get out of the heat, which is what we want. We want them to be able to be comfortable and to experience those things. And I think last year people were able to do that.
Let's go onto the field for a quick second. The team this year has been a lot of talk that you're smart sizing and sort of reorganizing. You've got a coach that I think is one of the best in baseball. Gardenhire is phenomenal, great guy to talk to, knows the game. You pair him up with Al Avila, these are two guys that really know what's going on, but Gardenhire has a reputation of building young players. He did that in Minnesota. He's been phenomenal. As you're heading into the season, how high is the optimism in the clubhouse?
It's very high, Mark. And I think the bottom line, or sometimes it gets lost in the shuffle, is that these guys are competitors and they want to go out and win every single day. You don't want to go out there. Losing's tough, especially as you get into the dog days of summer and August and September. 162 games for a major league team. That's a long time. And so, but I was looking at our lineup the other day, and the spring training guys have had Castellanos with 5 home runs already, Victor Martinez with 5 home runs, and Miguel Cabrera hitting. There's depth and there's pieces that are there. Obviously we have some younger pieces as part of that, younger pitching, but with that is opportunity. And I think that's the part that Ron and the staff has preached from the very beginning is we're going to go out there and compete. We're going to do things the right way, play the game the right way, the taking the extra bases, the aggressiveness, all of those. And I think you've seen that during spring, and I think you just don't flip a switch. You're not one way during spring and there's a regular season. Okay, here we go. Yeah. That's how you're going to be. And I think the second part to that, Ron or Mark, is that Gardy is just a great guy in general. We recognize a military hero of the game every single game during spring training. After the first couple, and you're talking World War II guys, I think out of our 15 games so far, we've had 12 World War II guys. Guys that are anywhere from 93 to 99 years old that are throwing out a first pitch and being recognized. After the first one, where Ron kind of saw what was going on there, he goes out and catches the first pitch from these guys every single day. Yeah. He goes and signs autographs, takes pictures with them and their family. He gets, without these guys, we wouldn't be here and enjoying the game that we love so much. So great guy, great manager, looking forward to what he's going to do on the field with our guys.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It's not room for optimism, and I'm an optimistic guy, but after, spending some time with him, with, Ron and spending some time with some of the other players and Jordan Zimmerman, for example, these guys are pretty excited. At least from what I saw. But sometimes what I see and what's in the locker room are two different things. And I also think that that locker room chemistry is as important as what's going out on the field, because it's a product of inside.
Absolutely, and I think the competition part too. I think for years going into spring training, you almost had your whole team set. Maybe an open spot here on a bench or utility guy, maybe a bullpen piece, but your lineup was pretty well set. This year there's been competition. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think it's a real good thing.
Well, if we're talking about the Flying Tigers season, and first game April 5th, they're at Publix Field at Joker Marchand Stadium, and I know Mark likes this stuff. He likes snacks and things like that. Tell us.
Thirsty Thursday. They're going to bring it back.
We're Thirsty Thursday on the first game, opening day. I mean, we're coming out swinging with a bang. So we've got our Thirsty Thursday, so half off beers, frozen drinks, cocktails. We've got a fireworks show planned for the first game on a Thursday, and people keep saying, are you sure you're doing it on Thursday? No, I'm positive. So we're going to do a fireworks show on opening day on Thursday, and be checking your local Publix supermarket next week, probably from Wednesday on. You're going to have a special ticket offer at Publix at all registers. So your whole family, up to 4 people, can get in for $5 for opening night.
Well, Publix puts that cool flyer in every Wednesday. When I get my ledger in the morning, I go out. First thing I pull out, and I go through that. It's a true story. But anyway, Zach, the one other plug real quick, and it's not really a plug because it's such a great event, the Tiger Trot. Yep. That's coming up. I mean, what a phenomenal event. It helps the Tigers Foundation. I mean, and people can come out, they can run around the stadium, and I mean, this is a great event. Tell us about that real quick.
Absolutely. March 31st, there's still time to register, so you can go on lakelandflyingtigers.com. All the information, call our office at 686-8075. Race will start at 8 a.m. sharp. And the cool part is that, you'll go around the back end of our complex, go through Lake Parker Park, and end right inside at home plate at Publix Field at Joker Marchand Stadium. So great way to start the day. Burn off a few calories that you might gain for the next day on Easter Sunday. So you can feel good about yourself getting out there and run a 5K race. And the good part is, when you start that early in the morning, you still have the whole rest of the day. And I think when you've run those, you're like, oh man, I already accomplished something. I can go do whatever I want the rest of the day.
Well, Mary Beth's running in it, so she's looking forward to it as well. Zach, thanks so much.
Absolutely.
You're always
Thanks
really like to have on board, and good luck with the Flying Tigers this year. I mean, I'm looking for a great season.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You bet. Well, everybody, mentioned it a little earlier, the Major League Scramble. What a celebrity event this is in Polk County. In fact, it's the only spring training event of its kind throughout the country. We have some great footage. We had Mark Cuddy get out there and actually talk to one of his heroes, Jack Morris, Hall of Famer, actually coming up this summer. Check this out. Mark and Neal, we'll be back right after this.
Hey, Neal Duncan here at the 23rd Annual Major League Scramble, hosted by the Detroit Tigers and Polk County Sports Marketing. We're here at beautiful Grasslands Country Club in Lakeland, looking for some great action. Let's take a look at that action here at the Major League Scramble. We're here with Tony Delgado, city manager for the city of Lakeland. And Tony, Major League Scramble here, but let's talk about the Tigers in general. What do the Tigers mean to the city of Lakeland?
Well, I tell you what, the Tigers are family. They really are. We've had a relationship with them going on our 82nd year. We have a new agreement that's going to have the Tigers with us right through their 100th anniversary here in Lakeland. We spent a lot of time and energy and money in making sure that the stadium, the new Publix field at Joker Marchant Stadium, is set and ready to go for the Tigers this year. So they're more than just a spring training baseball team. They're really part of our family here in Lakeland.
We've also got to get a nod to the state of Florida for their investment in the project. It started with the governor's baseball dinner last week, last night with the Tiger barbecue, today the Major League Scramble, then tomorrow another tradition, Florida Southern College versus the Tigers. These are things the Tigers don't have to do. Talk about that.
No, they absolutely don't. And I'm not sure what happens in other spring training towns, but once again, the Tigers have invested in our county and our community. And that investment goes well beyond just dollars and cents. It goes in making sure that our community and the Tigers organization is running parallel tracks whenever we're looking at things that are going to help our community. That's why they play Florida Southern. That's why they spend time at the Tiger barbecue. And we see all the players. It's just not a few of the players or a few of the legends. It's all the players come out and all the administration come out. I don't think you see that anywhere else. And that's why this relationship is so special, not just from the financial aspects and what it means to us from an economic development standpoint, but really what it means to us from having a great quality of life right here in Polk County.
Well, it's truly an honor for me. We have caught up with Jack Morris, and unfortunately, we're only an hour program, so I won't go through all the accolades that have and accomplishments of your career, but let's talk about the most recent. You got the phone call. You're headed to the Hall of Fame. Talk about what that means to you.
Well, it's almost surreal, and it's kind of hard. Ellen and I are going in together as teammates, and both of us have still struggled with the whole concept. We haven't been part of the ceremony yet, so until that actually happens, I don't think it'll ever quite sink in, but it's an overwhelmingly good feeling of so much kindness coming our way. It's off the charts, and it's, for baseball players, it's every kid's dream, to someday play in the major leagues, and then maybe when you get there, you kind of fantasize about, am I going to ever be good enough to make the Hall of Fame? So for both of us, we're living out a dream that just doesn't almost seem real anymore.
Congratulations, and let's talk about spring training. Of course, you're here with the Tigers and Lakeland, and all the history, the longest relationship between a major league club and a current spring training site. Talk about Lakeland. Talk about spring training in Lakeland.
I was a part of the Tigers for 13 years. 13 springs came down here, and it was a while back. It was when you were a young lad. And quite honestly, to come back now, for me to come back to Lakeland, it's a whole different community. It has grown, it has blossomed, so many changes. I remember when it was kind of simple, Central Florida town. There was fishing and hunting in phosphate pits and the rural part of Hardy County. Those were different times for me. Now I'm on a beautiful golf course that didn't exist when I played. And we get to play a round of golf that's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a good day.
Well, we certainly know you're busy, and we do appreciate you coming back to Lakeland. And again, congratulations on the Hall of Fame.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right, we're getting a great opportunity here to catch up with Bill Hobson from Michigan Golf Live. And actually, you've added to that, right?
We have the 4 Golfers Network now as well. So folks in our part of the world in Michigan have a product, and then the rest of the country can check out a podcast every Monday on the 4 Golfers Network website.
All right, well, if you have a golf show that's in Michigan, what are you doing in Polk County? What are you doing in Lakeland?
Living, breathing, being outside with shorts on and no heavy jackets. Yesterday, I left about 65 to 70 degrees less temperature to come on a plane down here to Paradise, where you're enjoying record-breaking temperatures. So this is awesome, and it's also a time for us to come down, and we're producing a new television program all about Polk County, golf, tying it into the Detroit Tigers, and kind of celebrating that connection that's lasted for 80 plus years. And so we're going to spend some time shooting at Stream Song, and then we'll be over at Eagle Brook. We always mix in a few quality restaurants along the way because that's a prerequisite in my world. And we're going to have some fun telling the story back home that there's no better way to get away from winter than to come right here to Polk County.
Well, we certainly believe that's true. We're glad you do as well. It's pretty easy to sail, obviously the weather, but that connection to the Tigers, I know that we can tell local residents that there's a big following in Michigan and they know this area, but let's hear from you. People know where Lakeland, people know where Polk County is because of the Tigers.
Yeah, they do, and it's interesting. It is truly the burst of spring that all of Michigan and the Midwest hopes for when pitchers and catchers report, when it's time to begin playing some exhibition games. You know, I made my way around here a little bit earlier. I see two Hall of Famers here, and Jack Morris and Mr. Kaline, and it's goosebump stuff for a baseball fan like me. Well, there are huge Tiger fans back home who, I've talked to so many who have said, you know, I've always wanted to get down there for spring training. And I tell them there's literally no better way to celebrate the game, to get some sun, and to just kind of soak in that experience and that connection, because while it is fun to go to a game at Comerica and watch the guys play, it's not nearly as intimate as it is here when you get to see both the current team and some of the stars of tomorrow. And this year, that could be a very frequent shuttle ride that they make back and forth. So take advantage of it and come down and see everybody.
Well, that'll wrap it up here from Grasslands with the 23rd annual Major League Scramble with the Detroit Tigers. We certainly want to thank the Tigers, the entire organization, for what they do in the local community. They're not here just during spring training, but year-round. Go check out the Lakeland Flying Tigers this summer as their schedule kicks off.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Sports Central, segment number 2. Mark Jackson along with Mr. Neal Duncan. Neal, it's cat got your tongue there, buddy?
No, I was going to say some great footage there for the Major League Scramble. It was an honor to catch up with Jack Morris going into the Hall of Fame. Of course, Alan Trammell going in as well. So
Jack's a great guy. He can hit a ball a long way too.
Yeah,
a lot of fun to play with.
Hey, real quick, Legoland Florida Resort, proud partner of this of Tourism and Sports Marketing and the sponsor of this segment.
Oh, absolutely. They got a new ride they're unveiling today.
Yep.
And we're really excited about that, going to the function there tonight. Yep. I know they had a big one this morning for much of the media, so it was well done, as usual, by Legoland Florida.
Well, I think the neat thing about it is everything they said they were going to do years ago, they're doing. They said that they would continue to invest in the park and add new attractions, and they certainly have done that. So
it's been phenomenal.
Yep.
You know, we're continuing with our second celebrity guest, Mr. Brian Burns from the Ledger, actually the publisher of the Ledger, but he's sort of a sports guy too. So he's here with us today.
Somewhat. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it. Glad to be here. You're a mess.
So thanks so much. You've got a big event coming up. I mean, on if I remember correctly, I can read my script correctly.
Sure,
that I'm
April
going to read is April 11th.
That's correct.
9 o'clock in the morning. I mean,
yes.
Tell us a little bit what's going on.
Yeah, so we've actually we have a couple sponsors of the event, Watson Clinic and Simply Healthcare. The event will be at the RP Funding Center on April 11th from 9 till 4. It's a free event for the public. It's really an event for boomers and seniors. However, this year we have a really interesting celebrity that's going to be joining us. Some people know him as Fonzie from the Happy Days. Other folks, like my kids, know him as Coach Klein from Waterboy. But Henry Winkler will be joining us for the event, do book signings and photographs of folks. And he actually has a really good message as well. He does a lot with, not only does he has his acting career, but he's also a phenomenal writer, as well as he's a motivational speaker, especially to children. That have had difficult times. Oh, the guy's amazing.
Oh, that's
amazing.
Phenomenal.
So that's all part of the event on Wednesday, April 11th, and again, as you said, at the RP Funding Center. But
it's going to be huge this year. We're looking forward to it. It's going to be a big event.
It's called Life Expo.
Life Expo.
That's
health
correct.
and wellness, health screenings, assisted living, real
bingo.
estate, travel,
There's going to be
everything.
bingo.
Really?
I was told.
What time's that?
On the hour, every hour.
Oh.
That's. But there's there's going to be health screenings. There's actually going to be some fitness things happening. We did that last year. We actually had physicians come in and to do the screenings themselves, and then there was also yoga instructors and physical fitness or physical therapy folks there. It's actually a really, really cool event.
Yeah, it's a Wednesday too. I mean, I got to get over there and check that out. You know, I've heard some really good things about what's coming and all of this type of stuff. But you know, one of the things that sort of brings to mind, you know, since you've been at the Ledger, I think I've seen some really more changes and really, really good changes. You know, the format of the paper is different, but I think a testament, if I can put it like this, it's sort of a testament to the quality of your leadership, has been being involved in the community. You know, I don't think, I mean, this is an event, you're not reporting the news all the time, you're making the news with this event. You're making the news with the All Sports Awards and Hall of Fame. You're making the news with, you know, all these other things that you're involved in the community. It's made a huge difference. Of course, you know, one of my favorites, silver garlands. I mean, wow.
Well, a lot of these, it's funny you bring that up because I think, you know, we have made a lot of changes. We've recently, if you've noticed, in the paper has gone more local on the front page and the front sections. It's important to us as a media organization to really kind of tell the story of what's happening in your backyard before, you know, the world news. Let's start granular and work our way up throughout the paper. It's important to get those local stories on the front page. With that said, you bring up events as well. Those things are a different avenue for our industry or our business to help grow the business, but secondly, be part of the community and get people involved across the spectrum. We have our sports event that we do. We did last year. We're working closely currently with the Tigers to plan some events over at Publix Field at Jericho Merchant Stadium. So there's a lot going on. We want to do more and more and more of that. I have a phenomenal marketing team that's in place to, you know, kind of steer that initiative, if you will. But I think more and more you're going to see that coming from us.
That's fantastic. And I, you know, like so-called word on the street, everybody's been pleased with that, and they just go, "Wow, this is fantastic."
Oh, I love hearing that.
Just, you
Mark,
know,
I appreciate hearing that.
Coming from you know, people that are just, I may be having an adult beverage somewhere.
Sure.
Or I may be having a beverage at a place they serve adult beverages.
Sure.
But, you know, people talk, you know, it's just interesting to hear, you know, and that's kudos.
Well, appreciate that very, very much.
Well, I think the neat thing about it as well is, you know, you're always going to have someone who actually wants the paper in their hand. You're going to have somebody that's going to go online or on their device or whatever. But I think the changes, not only in the industry, but what the Ledger has done with the digital side of things, you guys can market not only locally here, but you also have a network of papers where you can market. So if it's a local business and they're trying to bring people in, which obviously for us, that's a great thing.
Certainly.
And I think it's really interesting what you guys have done digitally.
Yeah, it's you know, we're owned by a larger entity and that has a lot of resources, and especially on the digital side. We actually own technology firms in Boston and California that we work closely with as on a more micro level, on a local level, that we work closely with to kind of build that digital suite of products and to be able to offer, one, the advertisers, the county, the cities, a way to reach outside of the market to pull people in. And obviously for you, that's really important.
We like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's ever changing, as we know. The digital space is constantly changing. It looks, you know, if you just look back 5 years ago or 10 years ago, what it looks like today is unbelievably different.
I just like picking up that, you know, every morning, first thing I do, I go out, put the coffee on, go out and get my paper, read the paper, every day.
Well, I like hearing that very much.
I like something in my hand to be able to read.
Sure.
You know, or if I'm pushed for time, I can take it with me and do whatever, like on Saturday or whatever, Sunday. So it's really, really good. But you know, the thing, I want to jump back if we can for just a second to the Life Expo. You know, with so much emphasis now on health and wellness and preventative care.
Absolutely.
This is an opportunity for people. You know,
it absolutely is.
To get the latest and the greatest, and you pulled all these organizations together. You know, something that I think is really needed. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, right? Isn't that the saying? Ounce of prevention.
If it's not, it is now.
It is now, Mark.
Yeah,
I think you just
okay.
created
Well, see,
that.
I remember watching
You can quote
Fonzie.
him.
You have to write that one down for me, maybe. Email that to me, Mark.
Okay, I will.
Fly me a text.
But you know, that, you know, for particularly our so many snowbirds still being down here.
Certainly.
You know, senior citizens and so on and so forth. That's going to be a big hit for them too.
Well, it's funny because the event last year it was phenomenal. We actually had Vicki Lawrence join us last year for the event, and it was phenomenal. This year, I think it's going to be even larger. We have a lot of vendors, different businesses from around the community that are joining us. I think more so this year than we even had last year.
Wow.
So there'll be an array of seminars and shopping and information for folks. So we're excited about it. It's going to be fun.
Well,
and it's really for all ages. I mean, it's for boomers and seniors. But it's funny because I had a conversation with Henry Winkler about 3 weeks ago, and we were talking about the generational, we were talking about generational gap.
Yeah.
And it's funny because he really doesn't have one because he reaches a multitude of audience.
Yeah.
And I brought up the fact that my kids know him as Coach Klein from the
Yeah.
Waterboy. They can't wait to come to Life Expo,
Yeah.
because they want to meet Coach Klein, and which he obviously laughed about. But his message is really for any age, and it's amazing to listen to this guy. He's just a phenomenal character.
Well, I've got a question for both you guys.
Okay.
And that has to do with the All Sports Awards and Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Presented by the Ledger.
Yeah, June 12th.
Yeah.
RP Funding Center. And
But could you do it without
amazing
with that
event?
sports
And
staff?
you know what? There was an
No.
MC last year. The guy was great.
every year.
Was that Mark Jackson maybe?
Well, and I think to your point, Mark, absolutely, and the Ledger has been there every step of the way for the event. And I always like to say that it's an easy event to put on because we're never having a hard time searching for athletes to recognize in this county.
Certainly.
And I know in your time here you've seen, and obviously your sports staff is second to none, but even their job might be a little easy as far as that goes, but it's difficult because it's
Sure.
not enough time in the day to get to everybody.
Right.
But what a
Sure.
hotbed of talent in Polk County. So the event, it recognizes the high school, the amateur athletes, and colleges, and it doesn't stop at the high school level because our colleges and universities here in Polk County are unbelievable. So I want to say
That event is massive too. That's a huge event.
it is
And
600 plus people.
Yeah, my first one was last year, and it is funny because some of the folks, Andy McGaffigan I'm going to pitch. Andy, I'm pitching you right now. He's a pitcher. He was a pitcher with the Yankees.
Northwestern
as well.
Mutual.
That's right, exactly. What a phenomenal character, and him and I became very close friends after that event, actually. And the MC was just amazing. I don't know who's going to MC it this year. Do you think it'll be Mark Jackson?
Sneaky suspicion.
Yeah, I have a feeling as well.
I think this is
maybe I'm going to get up there with him. Maybe I'll go up there with him and do a little MCing with him.
But again, we want to say thank you.
Of course.
Not only these other events that you guys are bringing online, but that event and what the sports staff does for us to help pull that event off. We couldn't do it without them. And not only on the award side, but on the Hall of Fame side, some of the research. I mean, what a great resource to find information to go back to the past articles in the Ledger.
Well, to see the kids come up and get their awards, the smiles on their faces, and it's outstanding. And you mentioned Silver Garland is really that's more on the academic side, and it's the same thing to see those kids kind of light up. Their hard work and their achievements are recognized as outstanding.
It's a really important part of the fabric of this community. I think it's what makes Polk County different. And with the more involvement with you, the change in the paper and then the digital changes and all that type of stuff, I mean, that's what makes this county so good. This area, Central Florida, such a great place to live. So, kudos to you guys and the staff. You do a phenomenal job.
I
We appreciate
that,
it.
Mark, very much.
Yeah, that's great stuff. Well, Brian, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah,
We
anytime.
appreciate it.
This was fun.
We're gonna get you back, particularly around football season, because I know you're a big Tampa Bay Buccaneers
I
fan.
am a Tampa Bay Bucks fan.
Yeah,
so I would love
before
that.
the draft, and it's all looking good.
I know it's looking good. I got it's going to be a good season, I think, this year.
think so, too.
We're looking forward to it.
All good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've got some very special footage. There's an event in Polk County some of you might have heard about. It's called the Sun and Fun Fly-In. Well, that's coming up on April 10th. And what a great event that is this year. The Thunderbirds are going to be here. Last year we had the Blues. This year it's going to be the Thunderbirds. And we have some special footage for you. Little information. Stick around. Mark and Neal. We'll be back right after this.
So this has just been an absolutely amazing experience. Just all of the different people, personnel, all over the world, just coming to learn about what we do, and learn what the hurricane hunters do. And it's just been a great opportunity for us. So many different aircraft, experimental aircraft, military aircraft. It's just been an absolute blast to be a part of this.
I really enjoy sharing the experience. Took a young lady for a ride today that works for one of the folks that we do business with in my plastics business as well as aviation. And just to share with them the experience of looking at them and talking about them and seeing how they operate. I personally get a lot of satisfaction out of flying it because it takes a lot of concentration. The systems are a little different than we have in our current GA airplanes in the United States. So you got to stay on top of that and keep up with the training on it. But that's just a good mental therapy to
It was probably the coolest thing ever. We started off with takeoff and basically, I guess some basic maneuvers. They kind of swapped places a little bit, did a couple rolls, but all in all, it was really exciting. Probably one of my coolest experiences I've had.
This is a privately owned aircraft, and I use it to help with our group, which is CJAA, the Classic Jet Aviation Association, and we try to promote the membership and keep the old military jets flying from around the world. And that's what our organization cause is. I use it at air shows like this one, bring it to Sun and Fun, and we go up and practice formation flying so that we can do a little less exotic, but the same kinds of things that the Blue Angels do that we're hearing in the background right now.
Most of it is either meeting new people and learning people's stories and about where they're from and what they're flying and how we can help them, give them a cool paint scheme. And also reconnecting with other customers and people you meet along the way. That's probably been the greatest thing about air shows is the people you meet. And they're all different, they all have amazing stories, and everybody's so friendly,
Hey everybody, welcome back. Segment number 3, Mark Jackson along with Mr. Neal Duncan. And hey, this is an easy segue because we just had the publisher of the Ledger on. So this segment's being brought to us by
The Ledger?
Thank you, sir. You're a gentleman and a scholar. You are sharp today.
Oh, thank you. Sharp as a tack, right?
Yeah, you got to. Oh, by the way.
Yes?
You didn't think I was going to forget, did you?
I suppose.
This guy here, Off the market, girls. Tied the knot last weekend.
Yeah, yeah. Got married on Saturday, and long time coming, and I'm just glad that she likes me.
Glad somebody does.
Oh, there it is. Well, I was glad to see that part of the Life Expo has assisted living information. You might want to go ahead and grab some of that.
I might be able to pick up a...
Don't start none, won't be none, right? No, but seriously, thank you. I appreciate it.
Hey, we have another celebrity guest with us.
Yeah.
I mean, Becky Afonso is like the queen of cycling in the state of Florida.
That's right.
You know that with the Florida Bicycle Association.
Yeah, and she's here.
Yeah. You know what I said earlier?
I heard you.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Well, I stand corrected. And March is Florida Bicycle Month. Did you know that too?
It says it right here. I did know that.
You got problems, man.
So, Becky, welcome to Sports Central.
Thank you.
Thanks so much
Appreciate
for coming
out. Congratulations, by the way. And Mark, we'll talk after the segment, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure.
But you're right, March is Florida Bicycle Month. We've done that. Actually, we've been working with the Florida Department of Transportation through the Alert Today, Alive Tomorrow campaign to really bring more attention to that. Florida does celebrate a bicycle month separate from national, which is May. We do that primarily for the weather, but the concept is still the same. It's all about encouragement and enjoyment that you get from riding a bicycle.
Well, not only good exercise, you know, many times as I've been to Europe for many, many years, you know, it's just a form of life over there. Here, you know, we're so spread out, it makes it a little bit tougher here in Polk County, but more in the urban areas, you're starting to see more and more cyclists, you know, which is a great thing. You know,
including Bike Share, which is right in your downtown Lakeland, gives tourists an opportunity to maybe tour around the lakes if they didn't bring their bicycle to town. These are, you know, all very wonderful things, and yes, it's all about an active lifestyle, a more healthier retirement for some people that come to the state of Florida, but certainly for anybody living here, no matter what age, to get out on a bicycle, to enjoy the trail systems, or just about anywhere you can take a bicycle and have some fun.
You know, I think the Board of County Commissioners have done such a great job in the various municipalities around Polk County of making it accessible to bicyclists. And it was funny because when we were promoting the Channel Lakes Classic, which happened a couple weeks ago, the industry has done such a good job of promoting Share the Road. And I immediately just said that when I was promoting the event, and it wasn't even on my script or on my information, but it's been ingrained now to share the road, watch out for bicyclists. You know, not only do we have trails, but they're on the roadways and making it safe for everybody. And I think the Board of County Commissioners in the cities have done such a great job. And, you know, we don't necessarily know how it is elsewhere, but would you agree that Polk County is very friendly to the bicyclists?
Oh, absolutely. You've got a League of American Bicyclists designation in the city of Lakeland. Your transportation planning organization has been embracing Complete Streets policy for, well, probably a little bit before the state did. They have certainly been working very hard. We worked with them back in 2013 when Bike Florida hosted a tour here, and that was phenomenal. Actually, Mark, to this day, it's still the largest Bike Florida in the last 10 years.
Wow.
Coming into this Lakeland area in the Polk County, because we did showcase Lake Wales as well. You know, those are the kinds of things that when you're working with municipalities and you're looking at even grant funding for certain things like connecting to the Coast to Coast Connector Trail, which your van fleet will lead into Polk City. And if it ever gets from Polk City to downtown Lakeland, it opens up the Fort Fraser into Bartow. These are now becoming destinations. And a lot of people will start looking at that as not just, I'm going to ride this one time and I'm done. It's every time you go out to ride it, you're going to explore something new. And it's going to want you to come back and look at more. And that was certainly the feedback we got in 2013. Just by running them through some of those fields of oranges and smelling the blossoms, and they were like, we're coming back. We got to come back. This was so beautiful. It was unexpected to see some of those hills in Lake Wales, and they certainly wanted to explore more of it.
Well, I'm going to give Mr. Jackson some kudos real quick on this. Is, you know, he's always talking to us about diversifying the portfolio of events that we have, and, you know, baseball events and soccer events and softball and all these others, but those fields need time to rest and things like that. This is embracing an industry that's going to, you know, that pumps in a lot of money and economic impact into our area, and it doesn't take a toll on anything other than a few
getting people healthy.
Exactly. There's no downside to it. So kudos to you for that.
Well, and cycling in Florida is a year-round sport, although you will find some people not so encouraged in the summer for various reasons, unless it's very early or closer towards the evening at night. But going back to your events in March and the Bloomin' Bike Ride that was held in Bartow, my understanding it's the largest organized road tour in Polk County. And it actually does works for the charity Trish Felfer, working with the Heartland for Children. Already distributed up to 128 bicycles to children in need. So these are really, more of just not getting out and getting exercise, but actually being more community oriented, giving back to the community, making it a better place for everybody involved.
Becky, a lot of people, including myself, when you start talking about cycling and what's going on with the sport, and they want to know, okay, this is for me. How do I get more information about your organization, the Florida Bicycle Association, and getting started in cycling? Because I call it a quiet sport, which it is, but it's also sort of it's not like running. For a lot of people, their knees, their back, whatever, cycling in its different shapes and forms, you can do a lot of different things, and it's less intrusive on your person. So with that, not really a sales pitch, but that summary, statement, where can they go? What's your website, and how do they contact you?
Our website is floridabicycleallspelledout.org. We certainly do list resources by the Florida Department of Transportation District. So this would be District 1.
Okay.
And we will list all sort of facilities, bicycle facilities contacts. Certainly anytime anybody emails me a question, I'm more capable to actually answer it. Granted, I live in the Tampa Bay market, but I have always been paying close attention to what's going on in this area because it's the heartland of Florida, and it's centralized. More people can come up from the south or from the north in Tallahassee than, say, from Miami to Tallahassee. This is a great central point, and it has a lot of variations to offer. It's not just flat. Like I said, Lake Wales is on a ridge. You have some climb. I believe the Ironman ran out of Haines City at one point.
We've got that coming up.
Right.
That's one of our next biggies.
Right, but for anybody that's just looking into it, certainly a local bike shop would be able to point them in a direction of maybe a ride they're doing, or some maintenance classes in case they want to know how to change a flat should that happen. But the trail systems, and I can certainly point anybody into a trail system on anywhere that they live in the state of Florida, great places to start out, get yourself acclimated to how to ride safely, and then if you want to start really embracing it, making it part of your lifestyle, commuting within 3 miles. I myself, where I'm at in the city of Oldsmar, I can ride to the library, the Publix grocery store, just about anything I need to do in the city, I can do it by bicycle.
Probably faster.
Sometimes, yes.
And it's not $3 a gallon to get there.
Right, and parking's never an issue.
That's right. A lot of benefits to it.
Yeah, that's good. And with your organization, there's such a focus in on safety too, particularly for kids. A lot of, heck, when we were growing up, you just get on your bike and you go down to the next farm, or you go over there, you go over there. There's so many kids now, sitting on a couch. And for parents that are one of the reasons I wanted to go to your website is simply because they can get safety information. You guys are big advocates of cycling safety.
Exactly, and we can actually hook them up to other organizations that are doing things more localized, such as Safe Routes to School. In fact, we've been utilizing the Polk County area to bring in those trainers in a centralized area in the state of Florida. And we're pretty excited, the association working with Visit Central Florida and Polk County Sports Marketing, to kind of do more of those educational components centralized, making this kind of the education hub. It's something we're developing. We're looking into it. We are also looking into reestablishing the Florida Discovery Bicycling Center tours and making a weekend out of Polk County that not only teaches bicycle safety, but teaches you how to do a tour, a bicycle tour, self-contained or otherwise.
Wow.
So these are things that we're working in development. We're getting kind of excited about just talking about it.
Yeah.
I know there's great places to ride in this county, and certainly bringing that safety component into it. It's the education that's key. Once you know how to ride a bicycle and you can address all those issues as you're riding, you can find you can ride just anywhere. The roads really, there's a fear factor for certain distracted driving. We understand that. We were fighting that in Tallahassee to get texting as a primary offense. We're not giving up the fight. We'll continue that fight. But in the meantime, I can be out on the road, and just knowing where to ride, how to ride, that usually informs the motorist where they need to be, and everybody gets from A to B without any complication.
Well, Neal said it best. He said the county commissioners get it. They understand it, they support it, they like it, and they funded it. And some of the roads, I live off in Winter Haven, and that Cypress Gardens Boulevard, I mean, they've got a cycling, it's like, people are using it all the time. It's awesome.
And just so I can make sure I mention this before we tap out, you do have a advocate local group here called Bicycle in Lakeland. In fact, Mary Crow is our 2017 Citizen Bike Advocate of the Year.
Wow.
So we will be back in the market to present that award at some point, hopefully during May, which is National Bike Month. We'll have a venue to be able to do that in. But yes, that organization, you've always had the Polk Area Bicycling Association, always doing those types of things. So, the more people see it, the more they realize this, hey, this looks like a good thing to do. And certainly Bicycling in Lakeland has been very helpful in that regard.
Wow, fantastic. Wow, thanks for joining us. I was always just like, oh, okay, I got a question about this. I got a question about this. You can keep going for a long time, but you're a wellspring of information. Thank you so much for supporting cycling in Polk County.
My pleasure,
It's
Mark.
made a big
Anytime
difference.
I can come out here. I love it.
Well, everybody, there's a guy by the name of Dorian James out of Winter Haven. He's a heck of a basketball player. We have it's actually one of my favorite parts of this show. It's Up Close and Personal with Dorian James. That's it. Here you go. Check it out, everybody. We'll be back right after this.
I first started playing basketball when I was around 9 years old, like in the 4th grade. I started to get like a real interest in the game. Whenever I first started, it was really just, to have something to keep me busy, keep me active, but I really found a passion, and I really enjoyed the sport, and I wanted to keep playing until I get to the next level. Well, when I was younger, I didn't have a lot of confidence playing, but once I built my confidence, and I started to play much better, and so that helped me a lot. Basketball actually does teach me a lot of lessons. As a person, you learn how to be more of a leader. As a player, I just put in a lot of hours into the gym, and I just get better every single year. Sometimes when I feel stressed or I feel like I'm going through a hard time, I always want to play basketball to get my mind off of it. Well, last year, I made it to the all-county first team, so I felt like I was one of the best players in the county, and that felt like a really big accomplishment. One of my favorite memories actually was my freshman year whenever I first moved up to varsity, and I hit 2 threes in one of the first games I played, and just hearing the crowd and all my teammates cheering me on, that felt really good. Whenever it's a big crowd, I try not to focus on the crowd because that can kind of throw me off, so I stay zoned in on the court and on all the players. And but whenever it's like a big crowd, it kind of hypes me up more to play. Well, Coach Wissard, he's really the one who really got me into playing basketball since I was really young. So he's kind of like family to me. So he's always been there for me, always to help me with anything that I need. And he's always been, a very great coach, training me up to, improve all my skills to be the player that I am now. Yes, to be a good teammate and to be a good member of the basketball team, you can't be selfish because it's not going to work. If everyone's selfish, then the team is not going to work very well together. So you have to be very understanding and a good teammate. Well, with our team, we have a lot of really good players. So we have a very talented team. So we have to know when to pass the ball, when to go, and since we've been playing together since we were really young too, we've all been playing together for a long time. So our chemistry is really built up from all of those years. So we play very well together. And in the game, any moves that we do, it's just natural. It's just kind of second nature. After I graduate high school, I'm going to the University of North Florida and I'm playing basketball there. Yes, I want to be a certified registered nurse anesthetist, so that's where I want to be.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Sports Central. Mark and Neal back for segment number 4. Thanks so much for joining us. And Neal, you know, it really takes great partners, you know, to put together the events, you know, and attract the tourists and so on and so forth. But when it comes to sports, in Polk County, there's an organization that sort of helps the athletes celebrate a little bit.
Yeah, the Trophy Shop, a great partner of Tourism Sports Marketing, and they help us out, and I'm sure they're ready to help you out as well, because as we said before, June 12th is the Polk County All Sports Awards and Hall of Fame. We know there's plenty of opportunity for trophies around this county, so you want to definitely check out the Trophy Shop.
On Wrecker Highway in Winter Haven.
Yep.
Drive by it virtually every single day. Well, we're going to bring up to speed on what is happening, and there is a lot in Polk County. Now, this isn't something that you're always going to see on the mainstream news. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But going on right now, actually wrapping up next week, is the Russ Matt Spring Invitational. It's the largest collegiate baseball spring training and games in the world. More than 1,000 games, Neal, will be played over 5 weeks. 30,000 room nights. It's just a massive, massive event.
This event helped to replace the loss of the Indians years ago when they left and went to Arizona. So huge economic impact.
Well, the Lakeland Magic, you know, organization that has just blossomed here in Polk County. Had the opportunity to talk with a few folks recently, and they are thrilled to be here. And they've really gone off the charts, at least in terms of the league. And their performance, you know, the involvement of the community and so on. Shelley Wilkes is just thrilled to death.
They just went on a recent road trip, and they went 5-1 in that road trip. It's got them back into playoff contention. As we're coming to you live on Friday, March 23rd, they have a game tonight at the RP Funding Center, and then tomorrow, and those 2 games will really decide whether they get a home playoff game next week. So it might be one of those situations they're either in and get a home playoff game, or they're out completely, but we think they're going to be in. So check out the RP Funding Center's website, or go to Lakeland Magic, part of the G League. Hopefully they'll get into the playoffs.
Yeah, and some of these guys are going back and forth to the NBA. It's really a great situation for Polk County. Well, speaking of great situations, the Senior Softball USA Spring Nationals is coming up. Actually, it's this weekend.
This weekend, 23rd through the 25th.
23rd started today. I keep thinking it starts tomorrow, but it's a 3-day tournament. And these are some of the best senior softball players in the country. I mean, these guys are really, really good.
Well, softball has been a bread and butter sport for many, many years here in Polk County, and we continue to reap the benefits of those great relationships. So we look forward to that event this weekend. April 14th, we already kind of talked about the Brick Dash 5K. That'll be at Legoland Florida Resort. We talked about it's part of the Run 863 series. I'm sorry, we didn't talk about that. We talked about Tiger Trot, which is on March 31st, and then on April 14th will be the last of those races, which is the Brick Dash at Legoland, Florida.
Absolutely. Well, don't forget about the Ironman in Haines City. A lot of people have been asking me about that. It's coming up. It is April 8th at Lake Eva Park, where it's been since we brought it here 6-7 years ago, I guess.
Yeah.
Huge success. 2,200, somewhere around that, athletes, some of the best in the country, coming from all over the world. What a great opportunity.
Yeah, we've got some sponsors I guess we want to thank. Certainly, they help partner and help us out. Spectrum, Cleveland Heights Golf Course, Hilton, Garden Inn in Lakeland, Hall Communications, of course the Big 4 radio stations, and Abuelos at Lakeside Village.
Absolutely. Well, April 13th, everyone, that's our next live show, so make sure you check it out. Check out PGTV for all the great offerings they have on a daily basis. This is Mark Jackson for Neal Duncan. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. We'll see you again next time.